Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live Scribbles with Jonathan. You can check out my website and my work at jonathanrector.com. So, how's everybody been? Hope you guys have been struggling. I've been struggling. I'll talk about a little bit of it today. It's a combination of just artsy fartsy stuff. All that stuff, and all that stuff. And I hope your guys' projects are going good. Um, I hope you guys are working on projects. I missed you guys too. Speaking of projects, now I didn't want to just like glaze over and just say, "Oh, I hope you guys are working on projects." Just let that go. I honestly believe and hope that you guys are working on some projects, personal or client-wise. The comment I'm making is more directed towards personal stuff. I'm hoping you guys are able to, scourge away and just, get about 10 minutes at least a day, to work on some personal stuff, even if it's anatomy study, something. And the reason I bring this up is today I'm going to be working on some Jessup King. Finally able to get back into that, and just wrapped up some client work. I'm on the tail end of that, but my schedule is opening up now, so I get to work on personal projects. And the last personal project I did was a couple weeks ago. And I showed it to you guys as well, but I did want to make a quick post about it or talk about it here as well. Where I can't find. Here we go. New window. I had this all open up before the show, so we didn't have to sit here and wait for all this stuff. But I did work on a what's it called? Sketchbook for a convention. Let me just bring this over here, and that whole production line to make it's very simple. It's nothing complex or anything, but the making of that, I'm telling you guys and girls, honestly, please make a mini comic at least once in your life. The year's almost over. It's totally hectic. You could make a mini comic in a weekend. Okay, you don't have to get totally bent out of shape about it. But the reason why I'm just talking about this, especially the mini comic stuff, is as you just the art and craft of making a comic is its own thing. So its own thing. Once you're able to cut it up, fold it, and staple it, and hold it in your hands, it's like real. That's like the stage where it's like now I can actually show this to somebody, and they can at their leisure open a page, turn a page, all that cool stuff, right? They can do what they want. It's a comic at that time, at that point, right? And it's very cool to be able to do that. So I want you guys to really work on that, and I'm going to one of my. We'll start the New Year's resolutions. Is I want to get the what's it called the process project thing started, videos that we were going to do last year. Maybe it's been 2 years now, that I told you guys that I was going to work with you guys on, and I've just have not had the chance to do it. But I'm going to squirrel away some time so I can make the whole video for you guys of how to make a web comic, or not a web comic, sorry, a mini comic, because I think some of you guys might not know exactly the ins and outs of the technical aspects, not necessarily the comic making part of it, but more of the like, now the comic's done, what do I do? What's all that cool stuff, right? So I revamped my website. As you can tell, it's very plain, very boring. I was doing some research, and this was I dig it. It's exactly what I need it to be. It's a portfolio site that has links to other things. If you guys are looking for this, I would recommend checking it out. If you're looking to make your own, check out this site right here, carbonmade.com. I can't recommend enough. It's very simple to do. As somebody that, yes, I would love a beautiful looking website. I don't have the money to, like, I had a really cool site my brother made me, and I'm very grateful for that. The problem was, as easy as he made it for me to update, I don't know about you guys, but the easier it is to update, the more it's actually going to get fixed or updated, right? Like if it's literally a link or you just click post, that kind of stuff, awesome. And it really didn't get there. But anyway, I saw this stuff, and I just wanted to go up here. Okay, so we've got our links, the stuff that we need, and all that good stuff right here, right? But I just added the store, and I just want to bring it up to you guys as well. If you guys are interested, you can head on over, and I do have a few of these copies left, which is the Sketchbook Red. I've got the Sketch Edition available and the regular edition, so you guys can check that out. Again, check out my website and check it out. The way to make your website there is called Carbon Made, I believe it was. Let me just go back and check it out for you. Yep, carbonmade.com. Or just go to my site, scroll down to the bottom. There's a little linky poo down there. So I have that. And the last thing I'll show, because I'm not sure exactly when this one's going to be wrapping up. I just put it up last night. We got to do our plugs, guys. Got to do our plugs. Is also during that convention, I was working on some sketches. waiting, for people to come in or do some stuff. And I also just put up a, where's my stuff here? I can't. I had all this set up so that you guys didn't have to sit around waiting. There we go. God. So right now it's actually still at $1, which is awesome, because that's where this stuff goes. But if you guys are interested, you can head on over to eBay. I did toss up a, if you think of, it's Bristol, but the size of a comic book art board, where you'd put the plastic in and stuff. It's that. Awesome to draw on. I recommend you guys do it too. But if you guys are interested in this cute sort of stuff, I did a Ninja Turtle as well. But the Batman is available as well on eBay, so you guys can check that out as well. If you're following me on social media stuffs, it's posted all over there. And the very last thing I'll say is on Patreon, towards the end of the month, I will be updating what the final 2016 sort of look is going to be for content going forward, especially with Jessup King and all that good stuff. What I did start doing is trying to get in the habit of daily posts on Patreon. So if you guys are one of my Patreons, you guys have probably seen it. This sketch here I'm actually going to toss on there as well tonight, with a little bit of a blurb underneath it. And this is kind of going into what I was talking about with this inking stuff. I'm getting sort of, I don't want to say into a funk, but I found the solution, or I just real talked myself today at work. What I was thinking about it off the top of my head is, I don't know if you guys get like this. So you'll draw, you'll start doing what you normally do, and you're comfortable in your zone, right? Like, yeah, you might want to get better at inking or drawing certain things. In this particular conversation, I'm talking about inking, and I've been talking to death about the Freddy method. That you guys have all seen me drawing, and all the pros to that, and the cons aren't really that heavy. But over the last week, I've been looking at other artists and stuff, and some of the things I'm seeing, right, you're like, I want to be able to do some of that stuff. And I feel, and what it is really is it's just like the organic inking, how we used to do it. You get there, you just get a pressure-sensitive brush, and you just ink. There's none of this, like, micron-style drawing. And I started doing some experiments with it, and, like, I'm digging the way it looks and the feel and all that stuff. But then the real talk part of me came in saying, what is the goal? What are we doing here? What are you? Why are you getting all butthurt about this? Is it because you think the art's not good enough? Maybe that's why. And just the easy realization, and this is how it always happens, is just remember what the goal is or what it is that you're trying to do. And for me, it's just hammer out comic pages. Get more pages. I want 2016 to be awesome. I want lots and lots of comic pages out there. So what does that mean? Well, that means just do the production workflow that right? And the sacrifice that has to come with this, because you can't get it both ways. It's very difficult to get the cake and eat it too, but the sacrifice I have to make is that cool, organic, sort of like pressure-sensitive, lose yourself in the inking mode. And I'm okay with that, but it took me a couple days, and again, like I say, I just thought about it today, the solution for it. And the reason I brought it up is I'm wondering, is anybody here in the chat room, do you guys go through this? Are you guys continually battling this? Is it something that you're always struggling? Can you not move forward because that's holding you back? I'd be interested to know. And if so, those of you that have moved on, have got past it, what was that you realized? What was it that made you go, relax, let's just go this way with it? You don't need to get all in your own head about it. And this isn't talking about making study time at the end of your day or the start of your day, like putting 5 to a half hour a day, 5 minutes away, a half hour a day to just study. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about like the actual drawing action of a comic book. Not really illustration, because illustration's whatever. So anyway, let's close this up here. Let's bring all this back. Now let's open up an ancient file here. Oh man, this is gonna be good. I've been really excited to get back into Jessup King. I haven't had a chance to get as much into it, obviously, as I wanted to. I was very fortunate to get some work over the last month, we'll say, uncredited, so you guys will never know I did it. But it's highly rewarding, and just take my word for it. Awesome opportunity, and I'm very grateful to be able to get that. But now that that's wrapping up, I can finally get back into our thing that we love, like the personal project that I'm looking to get started here. So let's go up here. I forget exactly where we ended up with this page. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right, so let's get into it. All right, okay, It's been so long since I've been looking at this here. It's so long, it's probably been like 3 weeks. Jessup King, not Castle Dracula, no. So I'm looking at this and I'm trying to think like, okay, let's get back into the rhythm, the mind, the flow that we were kind of at. Like, why was I, and who was I, and what was I thinking of, and doing all this stuff here. I do remember I was working on it with you guys. So we want it to be a webcomic, but I definitely would like to be able to have it printed because I'd like to hand it out at cons and stuff at the table. So the size I'm actually kind of concerned with because when I did the sketchbook, everything was 11 by 17 images inside there. I started squeezing it down, and how much resolution do we lose? So what we might have to do here is I think we're gonna jimmy rig this here. We're gonna make it. I don't know. Let's see. I've never actually tried to change. Gotta be able to do this. Change the. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna do this 11 by 17. Let's see how. Let's do it. Let's live wild. Oh man, look at all this extra work we're gonna have to, or not extra work, extra art we get to put in here now. So we gotta be careful because we we are still in what's it called, work phase, right? And I'm still on that. I'm teetering on that. All right, so yeah, we're gonna want to publish some stuff. That's cool. It's fun. But at the same time, the webcomic it's got its own thing, right? It's got that momentum with it. Where do we want to go with it? So I'm gonna reach out to you guys too. Because I can still adjust some of this stuff. What do you guys think? What would you guys recommend? Do you guys, anybody here? I know there's a few of you that are in here that do have web comics. And what do you guys, or even leave in the comments on YouTube? What is it that you guys do? When you make your web comic, are you just thinking this is for web? If I'm able to print it in some fashion, cool. But this is just web. I just want to put it out there for that purpose only. Or are you trying to forward think and go, like, yeah, I would like to be able to print this out myself, like in a mini comic fashion, or maybe it's, I'm not even thinking about that stuff. It's just all focused on what it is. And I just want to go here. Pixel Pusher. Question for you guys. UG worth looking into over Wacom for a drawing screen? UG. I've never heard of that. I'm pretty sure it's either way, it's I know what you're talking about. It's a Wacom-esque sort of thing from a different. I've never heard of the product myself, so I've never used it, so I couldn't stay to it. I do have, and have brought to work. Actually, give me a second here, guys. We're just gonna undo this here. I'm gonna draw while we're talking here, because it's fun to draw while we're doing this. Let me see where we're at here. Did we do the background in this? No. Let's start with Momo here. But I had a Huion GT220, which I did a review on. You guys can check that out if you're interested. Most of you guys know my opinion on that and stuff. Not that there's anything horribly wrong with it or anything like that. But it was fine. But once, I don't know if it was just because I've used Wacom products that I just have not been able to really go back to it. Now, in saying that, at work, I use my Huion every day. So I've gotten gotten better accustomed to the things that it does and that it does well. In saying all that, I personally, it goes into two boats. If you've never used a Wacom Cintiq of any kind, I'm not talking the actual tablets. I'm talking Cintiq that you draw on. If you've never used one, then you're probably fine getting one of these other brands. If you have used one before, I would recommend sticking with it. I haven't experimented a lot, but the ones that I have, there's just little things about it that I really do enjoy about the Wacom. And the last thing I will say too is the price is it's crazy. So in knowing that, please take into account what it is you're drawing for. If it's a hobby and you got like money just you're just throwing money around, hey, do what you want to do, right? But if this is sort of like a hobby, or you're kind of getting where you want to go and stuff, like it's taking some time, but there's no rush, probably go with the other ones. But if this is like your full-time job, like you are an illustrator, that is your job, I would personally recommend with what's it called? The Cintiq myself. Perfect saying, wait, did he just say we would never know what this top secret project is that he's been working on for weeks? Unfortunately, that is so. The client that reached out to me requested that it be uncredited. And the way this stuff always works is, unfortunately, not everybody gets to understand like all of what's going on behind the scenes. So it always feels like, what a bum out, But if people knew the information, it would be like, oh, we understand kind of thing. And I know you guys aren't silly like that, but it does kind of suck that I can't share it with you guys. Okay, sorry. Sorry, somebody said something up at the top there. Pillhead saying, I think of it as when I get more chapters, I'm a print a volume. UG isn't worth it. Unova or Huion, but not a Huion. 185 HD. Okay, so at least some of the stuff that I'm hearing here is, if once we start getting, actual volumes of content, then start worrying about printing it. And I agree with you. So that being the case, I think we'll just stick with making it just web size here. I gotta lower this big time. I can't really see what's going on. Get her to stick her tongue out. You guys can see how rough this actually is. Once we get into like inks and stuff like that, then we'll be good to go. I did have a couple questions asked me on YouTube talking about process and stuff. And for this sort of thing here, what I'll be doing, what I have been doing, even on that other project that will remain unnamed, was batches of stuff. So in this case, we're going to be doing batches of pencils, which is this rough stuff. Like we're going to do it actually for this panel up here because we didn't do it in the last one. And then the next, we do that for 4 pages. 4 is the magic number I enjoy. And then 4 pages of this right here, tight lines. And then we do 4 pages of final inks. And then lettering would be the last one. Again, I'm not sure if we're coloring or not yet. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, and people are talking about portability and stuff like that for tablets. It's actually, especially now, there's so many really good ones out there that might be something to really look into that actually affects the outcome on your decision for sure. What do we do with her teeth? Her teeth has that gap at the top. Very simple design. If you guys remember, we were going to go with like the full-blown wizard look for her. And I just started drawing it and I'm like, it's just not... does she have the dangly ball like the necklace part? No, actually, her design's very simple. It's let's see if we still have it here. Right here. Bring it up so you guys can see. So she really doesn't have anything anymore. It's just this. This is her look. There's a few reasons. One of them, again, is I want it for web, so the detail is pretty much getting stripped out of a lot of areas. The rendering and stuff, you're looking at pretty much what we'll be looking at for final inks and stuff, even Gildas over here. It's very simple stuff because I believe that when we go web, it's going to be around this size here. And the more detail we get in there is sort of a waste of time. It's more satisfying to do, but it is a waste of time when things start getting muddled. And even if we don't do cuddle, even if we don't do color, I'll be at least doing a gray pass, right? So a lot of that stuff does get removed. And the other thing too is, we can kind of add like the little tooth thing and blah, 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 blah. But yes, that's pretty much what she looks like. What's that? There you go. The fish thing. Yeah, I don't even know what she is. She's like a jellyfish. She's more jellyfish than squid, that's for sure. It's like a jellyfish. Probably just the easiest way to think of it. What's yeah. All right. Now, what did we do here for Jessup? Let me just check him out here. So we're going down to lines. We're going into panel 2. Okay, that is what we did. Okay. So we're going to run our cool little action here, but I need to make sure that the lines are all connected here, even though you can't see them. And you'll see why, for those of you that aren't familiar with the technique we're using. Okay, so we got that. Now we should be able to grab our wand from current layer. I should select. Oh, whoops, is that right? Yep. And then should be F9, I believe it is. Cool. Let's select these two. Bring it down. Okay, so I still have the settings in here from when I was using 300 DPI, so you can't even really see this here. So let's select the contour layer, and we're going to expand by, I don't know, 5. Something's off here. Let's turn this off. Am I missing something? Fail. Some lines here we missed. That's where she goes, boys. Alright, let's try the wand now and see if she works. And then F9. Weird. If this one doesn't work here, I'm going to have to fix this on my own. No, there we go. Okay, looks like it's working. Sorry, sometimes I don't know what it is. I think, again, like I was saying, it's some of the settings that I'm using in here. It's close to Photoshop, but it's not 100% the same. It's very, very close, and it's just something that I'm not doing right. What I'm doing here is I'm just expanding the selection here so we can get like this contour lean. I'm sorry, guys. The last few weeks, I've been re-listening to the streams the last couple weeks, and it's like I'm like so mush mouth. It's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's save that. We got that panel done. Let's catch up with you guys here. Character in Psycho Pass. I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen that. Big D. Oh, Darren. I know I whine about this to you, John, but what about the Butcher King? I freaking dig the look of that dude. Okay, so I will say now, Big D, that I did get your message on Patreon. I'm sorry I haven't gotten back to you, but yes, we'll totally get that squared away. I'm pretty sure I didn't get back to you. Actually, this is gonna sort of jackknife into something else here, and you guys. I know some of you guys, well, everybody here is for the art and stuff. Sometimes it's just what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna just show you guys something here that it's not art related at all. Well, it itself, in and of itself, is not art related, but you can totally use it for art, and I highly recommend. It's changed my life, and I'm not trying to push nothing or sell nothing. I'm just trying to. Actually, I am trying to push it because I want you guys to try using this stuff, even if you haven't really checked it out. But just to jump back here to Big D saying there. So 2016 so far, what I'm trying to have planned out is a couple of things. Jessup King, I want to just that's my fun. I want to just have fun. That's why a lot of the designs and stuff, I'm not going crazy because if I have to spend 12 hours per page, I'm not going to want to do this project. I'm not. I'm trying to cater to the things that I want to draw, that I want to have fun with, right? So that means there's going to be sacrifices in certain areas, such as the quality of art. yeah, people might look at this and say it's fine. I think it's fine. I really don't think it's that bad. And really, it's just up to me, up to me, right? And I don't mean that in a selfish way, but it's really whatever I want to do, right? And I want it to be pretty simple. I don't want to go too crazy with this stuff. And saying that, one of the ideas I want to at least push Castle Dracula next year as well. And what I'm hoping to do is, where did I have? Let me, sorry, I need his ship design we got over here. Let's put that there so I can draw it. And one of the things I was going to do is I was talking to my buddy Will, actually. You guys remember Will? And I've heard other people talking about this as well. And I'm going to try doing it. I need to do some research to see some companies and stuff. But what I would like to do is pitch Castle Dracula to like a publisher. I think that would be kind of fun. And if nothing happens from that, then I'll go into doing it myself. But what this lets me do is it reduces the art required at the beginning. Let's just say, like I don't need a full book and all that cool stuff. But what that means, right, is that if I could get a publisher to publish it, like a lot of the weight we share a lot of problems in that way, right? The publisher can help take care of certain aspects, can hopefully get me in contact with some people that like editors and stuff like that. That I do think a lot of people that try to publish comics that go through publishers rarely consider or even think about editors, and it's one of those like, oh surprise, that is a cost as well. You got to have an editor, and it's not a huge deal, nothing like that. But I do have a couple people in mind, couple companies in mind that I've worked with as well. So we'll see. I don't want, like, the character's not going anywhere. I love all the stuff that Castle Dracula started to become. It did start to leave the Castlevania stuff, which I started with, which is good. That way, it's got a little bit more of a unique voice to it, right? But hopefully, it still plays into what people dig about Castlevania and stuff. So I do appreciate that, Darren. Project's not gone. I just can only do so much. That's all. And I'm very humbled that people are so interested in the characters and the story and just based off designs and stuff, and that's huge to me. That really does, like, boosts one's spirits when you're trying to decide what project to do next. And I'm trying to a lot of the time when you're doing client work, it's people are coming to you for the work you do, which is fabulous, right? Like, very few people get the opportunity to have people come to them to do work, so you can't really complain about that. But the part that I feel like you can complain about is when you have this desire to do your own work, like a personal project a year, I don't think is totally out of the realm of possibility, and I think it's something you should all strive for, myself included. Um, but when you're continually doing stuff that even people really enjoy, so let's use Castle Dracula for an example. I get more people talking about they're more interested in that than Jessup King, and I'm not going to get butthurt over that. But what I have to be careful of is I still don't want to cater to people's wants. And I know that might sound like pretty dumb business wise. You're like, well, what the hell? People just want to throw money at you, or there's something there that people are interested in, which is great. But I don't want to deviate too much from the initial reason of even doing what I'm doing right now, which is this is we sneak away some time just for me, and not that Castle Dracula wouldn't be that. Um, But this is more like kid friendly. Not kid. Well, it is kid friendly. I don't want to make this too crazy. But anyway, I know we're going all over the place here. Um, a project a year. He did 8 pages in the. So actually, okay, this is gonna go into something here that you guys might dig. I really do honestly hope you guys have you can try this program. It's not even a program; it's a website, and you can pay for the year. I do. You don't have to, but there's some really cool stuff. I've never really paid for something that was like an online to-do list. Doesn't that sound kind of foolish? I don't know, maybe it doesn't sound foolish. Maybe it sounds kind of, it's out of the norm. At least it is for me. But what it's helped me do is get more more work done, as well as scheduling and just getting ideas out of my head and things that I don't forget. So let me just punch this up here. And just to tackle what you were saying there, Perfect Noof, about like only doing 8 pages a year. Somebody I really look up to. I've worked with him and I've met him. Great cat. Tyler James. Most of you guys probably, if you do know of him, he's from Comics Tribe, one of the head honchos there. He posted this article of this writer, and what this writer would do is on Twitter. Apparently, the only thing this guy does on Twitter is write how many pages he did that day, and then puts a total of how many he's done the year. And I thought that was such a cool thing because it puts it out there for people, and it's a cool. And this is totally in your head. And I never thought I would even care, but actually making a tweet saying, "I did a page today, and I add it to this total." It's actually very motivating. Not necessarily that it's going to make me go, I can't wait to add another page to it, but when I do complete it and it's like, okay, I'm going to put this out there to share with people, but it's that total that I never really kept track of myself. And just by doing that, I've noticed like, oh, damn, you're not really doing as many pages as you should be. Or, hey, man, like it might feel like you're still stuck. I actually had this once with the client project where it was like, I'm doing a lot of work and it's getting towards the tail end of it and stuff. And it's like, okay, I'm ready to do some more stuff here. And then I just made the post and it was like, oh, man. I've done that many pages this year, and I think right now I'm only up to 8 or 9 pages. But I started this, I think, 2 months ago now, and that's really not a lot of pages, right? It's really not a lot of pages when you think about it, but it is pages, and it's sort of like it's still going to that rhythm, of okay, you're doing stuff. Don't get too crazy about it. Will is up to what is Will up to? He's doing some client work right now. He's working on a personal project too. I don't know if you guys have seen it. What's it called? It's a play on Leave None Alive. Was it Leave None Alive? Leave. I want to say it's Leave None Alive. I believe. Could be wrong. And it's something about. I'm horrible with this remembering projects, and it makes me just sound like a jerk because then I can't remember conversations that we had. But it's like a spiritual or supernatural story, and I don't know too much about it. About a nun that basically goes after spirits and stuff like that, and that's a personal project. So far, he's working on. Just check his stuff out on Facebook. He's posting quite a bit of it. It looks really good. Other than that, I know he's working on some client work. I forget the projects. Todd, I think it's called. Time of Death, I believe it's called. I'm not sure how many issues he's in that, but that's from what I know. That's what he's working on. All right, let's get this mustache on this thing. So this kind of ship, it looks sort of like, I don't know, lame, but it was really fun to draw. And so what it does here is underneath, they retract, but they're not in here. It's like little rockets that'll kind of come out like that, and then they kind of turn and do some stuff. I'm not a very good tech artist, so this is one of the areas that I want to get better at. And if you guys remember when we were trying to design this stuff, I was in SketchUp, I was pulling up models and stuff, and eventually I was just like, you know what, no, like, this is for fun, just do it for fun. I'm not gonna beat myself up over. We gotta get better somehow, right? And to get better, for me, it's not necessarily jumping off the diving board and going right into the deep end of drawing like executive class Star Destroyers, like every detail that's in there. Like, look at this goofy shape, and it plays fine in there. I will get to the to-do list to show you guys. I know I'm kind of all over the place here. Leave None Alive. Okay, that is right. Okay, thanks, Noah. Pillow saying it takes a day to a page. Awesome. I encourage you guys actually, even on Twitter, just make a post out there every time you finish a page. Mine, it's literally like +1 page completed today, or +2, how many you do. And then in brackets, I add that to the total. So let's just say that was the total before was 5. It's like, so it's +1 page today, 6 pages total for 2015. And the other cool thing is, I know I started it late, but next year I get to look at that and go, I'm going to destroy that number. I'm going to do my best to just decimate that number. And what happens? It just starts snowballing, right? And you start making more pages, and that's really what we need to do here. He has okay, Will. Yeah, he has a lot of videos up. He draws characters and little cards traditionally. Yep, I believe it's Todd Knock. or Ted. I think it's Todd. He does a lot of that stuff, and Will's getting a lot of really good information and some stuff from him. John, I totally understand, but I look at Ian Fleming. He wrote James Bond and the kids' book Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So there's dual audience with his books. Oh, yeah. I think just being able to... Again, here, I'll just show you guys this one more time because I think it definitely does bear repeating. Get this over here. I'll go to Facebook. So if you guys are here during the pre-show, you saw what I was drawing. Not that it was amazing, but it's definitely got a darker tone to it, right? And I think just to show you the different levels that I don't say all artists need to be or anything like that, but this is the game we're currently working on where I work, right? Recipe Rescue. It's a match 3 game, and look at this. Radically different from how I draw, and this is very stale. Don't get me wrong. We can go into all that stuff before, but like all this stuff in here is like what I do at work, right? And I think when you look at something like this, it looks like it could be like a kid's cartoon show, or it's a very mobile look. You know what I'm saying? But this is radically different from what I do in comic book stuff. But what you're saying there, Big D, which is what I personally agree with, which is telling stories is the first thing you need to be doing. And how you tell that story shouldn't necessarily always be the same. Now, that's not to say you should always draw, what's it called? Anime and never draw realistic stuff. Just the voice that you have, if you're able to tell it in different styles, do it. Do what's appropriate for the project. And I know you weren't saying anything against that or anything. So, yeah, so there's that. So while I have this open here, I just want to show you. I just want to make sure here. I don't want anything on here that shouldn't be here because it is a to-do list and it's a little, you know. Okay, looks pretty clean. I'm not too ashamed with it. So this is really, I'll just go through like what my daily workflow is. And it's not necessarily every morning I'll do this, but at least once a day, I'll try to square away 5 minutes to go through this, and then go from there. So what this website is called Todoist, Todoist. I forget. I know I've showed you guys this before. I forget how I stumbled upon it, but please try it. I really want you guys to try this out just to see what it can do for you with projects and stuff. So what I've done with this is, if you guys have ever read David Allen's Getting Things Done, I've tried to meld that in here as well, okay? And if you guys don't know that methodology, it's everywhere. It's probably the #1 productivity workflow in existence. And you don't have to follow it to a T, but a lot of the methodology that's in there is, I can tell you guys right now how impactful that has been in just organizing, never forgetting because I don't have to remember anything, and just idea generation has been through the roof since I implemented that. And now, and with this here, this Todoist, and I see what Pillowhead's saying there, you just use a pad to pen and stuff, and do what works for you. The benefit for doing this here, okay, is how GTD works, getting things done, is whenever you have an idea pop into your head, whether it's a creative idea or if it's I need to buy milk or I need to do laundry, I need to email my Patreon supporters to let them know that there's new content coming out. These are things that if you always keep on your mind, it clogs it up, sort of like a computer. If you've got Google Chrome open and you open up a bajillion tabs, it slows right down. And what happens if computer crashed and all those tabs are gone? You do forget things. You're human, right? And writing them down on paper is great. However, that list most likely is going to get huge. Or you just go, I'll remember it. So the idea is stop having to remember things. That way your brain is always open as much as it can be to just go, be sick? How about you do this story about this or that? Or, oh man, and this would be great for that. Or even better yet is like, oh, it'd be a really cool business thing to do so that I can start doing more art full time. So you don't ever have to think about this stuff, right? And the idea is that it's right here. It saves it all right in here in the inbox, okay? I don't know what's here, so I don't want to... See, right there, there you go. Big D. Darren sent you a message, and I have to get back to you. All this stuff in here. Yeah, there's really nothing else that's in here. But so this is stuff that I'll get like through email. So somebody emails me or I need to get back, I can forward the email. Boom, it goes into here. I won't go into the whole workflow with this with you guys. I do want to do a video on this because I really don't think enough people are doing this, especially artists, at least people that I'm talking to. And I feel like there's this wall that a lot of us have where it's like, no, no, I'm doing it my way. I'm remembering it my way. No, this stuff sucks. I don't need to think about this. I'm an artist. All I need to do is draw. Just let me draw and everything will be good. To me, that's bullshit. It's total bullshit. Okay, just get a little mature about this here. Just hear me out. So the idea is you get this inbox, and when I get a chance to, whether it's once a day, once every 2 or 3 days, is I go in here and then I organize this stuff, and it takes no time. See, like here's a good example. So Darren, right? I already know that I talked to him today, but I still have to properly send him a message back, okay? Because I don't want to be rude. I don't want to forget about this message. So let's say we're going to do it today. So we got some options. We click here. What do we got? I'm not going to show you all this stuff, but today, bang. So it's gone. It's still here, right? But then I can move it into other things here. Like, what is this thing? Oh, it's respond with social message. Okay, cool. So if we go back to even to today, right here, there's Darren's thing. And when I'm done, I click that and it's gone. So why is this so cool? Well, look, I'll show you guys this. This is the power right here, okay? Reading and reference. I click in there. Any kind of reference that I ever find online that it might be an article to read at some point, put it in here. I don't have to remember to look for this sort of stuff. Client emails, client anything, next actions, all this stuff that's in here, art related look at this, webcomic articles, all these articles I know I want to read because there's probably a little piece of information in there that can help me. And if I didn't make a note of this somewhere, I never would have remembered this. And if I have to always read this stuff as it comes into my news feed or into my world, I'm never going to get anything done because I'm busy catching up on all this stuff. All right, and now how this really works for projects. So here we go. Here's a great one. Commissions. So I have one for Lars. You guys know all Lars. Lars is in here all the time. We're working on his Batman Red Hood. So I even have all the stages on, and these are the days I'm working on them. So I know when I get up in the morning or when I look at what am I doing today when I get home from work, I might not, and most likely will not get everything done. But it's here. That's it. That's all it is. And that's all I'm saying, guys. Please just try this sort of thing, okay? And I really do think in the long term, you'll start to really love this stuff. And I did see somebody say, like, you knew somebody that had, like, a whole bunch of Post-it notes. For me, even this, I look at all this stuff and I'm like, ugh, look at all this stuff. But I know it's here. So when I do get like that Sunday or whatever, a slow night, I've already, done a bunch of work. I can just go in here and go like, what do I want next week to look like? What do I want to do next week? Do I want to do a couple pages of Jessup King? Sure. All right, well, let's schedule this in. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's what I wanted to bring it up, and I definitely want to do a video on it for those of you that are actually, I don't want to say passionate, but are interested in that. And I'll say one last time, I have noticed a tremendous increase in productivity, clarity for sure. My social presence has been better just because I can schedule in advance things. Like you have even, like when you guys are going to the doctors and there's this thing called a calendar and you take the time to go on there and you write, I have a doctor appointment. And then the next thing you do if you're at work is, well, just by reflex, I need to schedule that off of work so I can go to the doctor's appointment. Maybe you forget. But that's why you write it on the calendar so you don't forget. Or maybe somebody reminds you. There's a reason why we are programmed like this, and to just not care about it when it comes to your art, which most of us, if we're not doing this just for hobbies, we want this to be a profession, you got to treat it like, have some respect for it. That's all. And I feel like I'm belittling some people by talking like this, so I'll stop. And I don't mean it to be too intrusive with it. I wish more people would just. I don't even want to say that. I know I've said it a bunch of times. It just makes me sound like I'm a little bit more superior because I'm using something. And I don't want it to come across like that. I'm mostly just trying to talk to people that might be interested in, you know what? I do find that I'm a little busy, and I wish I had more time in the day, or I wish I have so many things on the go. Those sort of people. That's all. Just those sorts of people. And again, I don't mean to come across as a J.O. here. So what we got there? Big D's asking, am I going to do the best books of 2015? Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I think I might do two because I've actually tried to start reading more nonfiction books this year. I'm getting these. I'm turning into one of those guys. Oh, oh my god, one of those guys that's all about like I'm just talking about right now, getting things done. The one thing is another book. There's all kinds of books that are like. There's this wonderful George Carlin skit. I don't know if you guys remember, if you guys are into George Carlin, where he talks about like people buying self-help books. It's like there's only one person that can help you, and that's you. And if you're reading books for people to figure that out, like you've got more problems than you than you think. And I do agree with that to a degree, but at the same time, the other side of it is there's so much going on every day, social media, and you just trying to make a mark so people know who you are, or people want to check their Facebook feeds, or when people look on YouTube, I would like them to let me know what they think, or have a discussion going. I would like more people to see my stuff, right? And you're competing with everybody else out there, and it's so hard to have all these hats on, you know. So when some gurus or whatever come across every now and then with like, hey guys, check this out. This might help. This might help. Just that word right there. I'm all for people that have like maybe interesting takes on stuff to be able to fix things, or just make ways to like improve your workflow. And unfortunately, I don't think there's enough art versions. It's all like business for the most part. But if you guys are in this for the business, if you guys want this for the long haul, right? Like you're gonna go to conventions, right? If you're ever going to go to a convention, I'll tell you this firsthand. If you're ever going to go to a convention, like you have to be ready to go. You got to sell that stuff. You got to move those books, and that's scary to a lot of people, myself included, for a while. Where it's, oh man, I got to have the pitch and all that stuff, right? But that's the reality. That's the other side of it. Just being a good artist isn't enough. That's all. So anyway, is there anybody in here that's into this stuff? And if so, like, what are you guys reading? Do you guys listen to podcasts about this sort of stuff, or is it? All right. So we got about 10 minutes left. So if we do have any other like questions in the room, by all means, throw them out, guys. See if we're in answer mode here. So I'm gonna turn the thumbnail layer off, and let's see if we can tighten some of this up here. Well, thanks, perfect. Appreciate that. All right, so let's sort of pencil in Jessup's body here. So in this story here, this chapter, this is just it's kind of like a fun one. Just something to get the feet wet and just sort of, get it out there and then start worrying about actual thematic plots and stuff like that in the world. I didn't want to get too drowned out in not starting because I'm trying to get like the plots and all that stuff ironed out. There's no time for that. I don't have time for that because then nothing will get done. It's just the way I'm working. So in this one, it's just fun. It's just a fun little story. So I don't want to say they've crash landed, but they've landed on an alien. They are aliens, so I don't know if it's an alien planet, but they've landed on a planet and they've run out of fuel. And in this universe, what people use for fuel is diamonds, like shards, like little. Imagine like a cheese grater, but just on a diamond. That sort of stuff, like crystal, fine crystal kind of stuff. So Jessup's going to scan, and what Jessup does too is he is all about learning about life and different life forms and stuff. Okay. So in this scene here, it's basically the catalyst, the whole thing is, he's like saying, relax, everything's cool. All we got to do is find diamonds, and diamonds are actually pretty common. I'm not sure if you guys know about this or not, but I was doing some reading on this, and the only reasons why diamonds are so expensive, obviously here on Earth, is because those that have it don't sell it. That's it. But diamonds are one of the most common jewels that you can get on the planet. And again, it's like me having a can of peas, but I've got all the can of peas in the world. If you want a can of peas and I say it's $1,000,000 a can, but you can't get it anywhere else, like you cannot get it anywhere else, it'll sell, right? That's all it is. That's all it is. So I thought that fact was actually very very interesting, and it led me to another video. I think you guys saw that. It's been going around, geez, for a while now, talking about like engagement rings and stuff, and how like what was it? Was it the 40s or something? Was it World War I? Somewhere around there. I forget the name of the company. They're a big one. But people never got engagement rings. They never used to get engaged. Nobody got engagement rings. It was like, do you want to get married? Yeah. Okay, well, we get a wedding band. Because that means you're married, right? But engagement rings, check it out. It's a video on YouTube. It was actually really, really interesting, thought-provoking stuff, at least for me. And all it was a really good marketing campaign that really said like, if you want to get married, you got to show her that you want to get married. Don't be a sucker. Don't be a chump. If you got this guy over here, he's showing up with this diamond ring, and you're showing up with like roses and your hat in your hand, like, would you somehow that makes you less of a man, like, oh, would you please marry me? But if you've got a ring, oh my God, who could say no, right? Just skeezy stuff. I love it. I love it. It's just marketing in general, man. But it was cool. It was really cool to hear about that stuff. Take those rose-colored glasses off for a little bit to hear that stuff. And this isn't against obviously anybody that's gotten married and gotten engagement rings and stuff, but because it pretty much is the normal now. Like I think that's all I've ever known. If somebody's getting married, well, you got to save up. How much money is it? You guys tell me. Like this, how much I really don't care, but how much do they say your diamond ring should cost if you're going to propose? Is it 3 months of income? Sounds like about right. One Punch Man. Oh man, I asked for a whole bunch for Christmas. If I'm lucky, I get some more. The first one I flew through it. I didn't know what to think about it. It was very like tongue in cheek, and I'm like, like the writing is. I thought the writing was pretty poor. But then as I'm looking, and I've seen videos online of the anime and stuff, and like I understand what it is and what it's supposed to be about, and I'm totally behind it. It's fun. That's all it is fun. It is 3 months. Okay, I did think that. That was right. Okay, cool. It's crazy, man. 3 months. And why is it 3 months? Does anybody know? Like, is that just who knows? We're not meant to ask these questions. That's just the way it is. That's tradition. All right, so kind of wrapping up here. Just doing our tight pencils. This chair is very creaky here, by the way. I'm not just letting them go. So process one last time before I say goodbye to you guys, for those interested. I've just been using this is like, it reminds me more of like a Photoshop pencil, to be honest with you. It's not, it doesn't really feel like pencil. Like, look at this. It's very airbrushy. Again, it reminds me a lot of Photoshop. I don't know why, I'm just used to using it. So that's why I'm using it here, even though Manga Studio's got way better drawing tools. But anyway, so we're going to go here, and then the next stage is we go into like this stuff here, this 3 pixel dead brush, and throw a contour line on it, and then we ink it up. That's pretty much it. Pretty cut and dry. Oh, and I should say as well that there were a few of you that sent friend requests to me on PlayStation. We were talking about Star Wars and stuff. I've just been going on PlayStation right now just to watch Netflix when I'm relaxing at night. Haven't really had the urge to play it, but sorry if I haven't responded to you guys, and thank you for those that added me. Hopefully we'll be able to play sometime. Noah, John, do you think you could make an in-depth vid on your process with Todoist? Yeah, I totally will. I'm gonna write that down here too, actually. Actually, here I'll show you guys. This is okay. So we're gonna do this in action. So there's two things that I would recommend reading, getting things done. What the one thing that it does that I do is so if I have check this out, guys. Oh, you guys are gonna love this. We're gonna wrap it up with this. If you don't like it, I apologize. That's fine. So if I'm in here, right, I'm looking at stuff, I'm like, okay, cool. So check this out. I'm just going to make a quick note so I don't ever forget this. And this is the power of it. So there's a hotkey you can press on your Q, right? So I'm going to say, make Todoist and GTD workflow for YouTube. Okay? That's all I need to do. And if I hit add task, actually, let's put this in the inbox here. Usually defaults there, but I hit this, right? So if I hit add task, it's going to the inbox so that, again, Sunday night or in a couple days or tonight if I got time, I can go in there and just sort of like figure where things are going to go. But right now, for the purpose of the exercise, I want to show you guys, okay, so what are we going to do with this? You can actually put it somewhere so you don't forget. So I have a little thing in here called YouTube. And all it is think of it like a file folder, right? So I can put it as a project, which is here. So it's YouTube. So now it's categorized that. Maybe I want to schedule it. When do I want to make this video? And if you guys notice, check down here. 7 tasks due today, 7 tasks tomorrow, 6. It actually keeps track of when I'm throwing these things out there. So I know like, oh crap, this day's going to be busy. There's no way I'm going to be able to make a video. Right? So let's pick a date. Let's see if we can figure one out here. I know this week's loaded. Next week is, Christmas and all that stuff, but I want to get it out to you guys. So let's see what we got here. Maybe we can do it on Tuesday. Screw it. Okay, so I'm going to click 15th. Cool. Add task. Done. Right? So you can see right here if we're in YouTube, we're in the YouTube folder. It's good to go, right? And now I never have to think about it, ever. I never have to think about this. It's going to pop up. That way I can't forget it. So let's just say, okay, it comes up on Tuesday and damn, I can't do it. So you just reschedule it. Not a problem. Or just don't schedule it and then eventually get to it. That's all it is. So the idea here is think about this, for example, for the power of this here, okay, guys? Let's say you have a YouTube channel, like me, and you're trying to think of content. Sometimes you just sit down, you get a piece of paper, and you're like, all right, I would like to draw this, this, and that, do this, and that. Cool. But eventually, sometimes you're just going to get ideas when you're in the shower, or you get ideas on your way to work, walking, eating, having a conversation with a friend where you guys are talking about your project. And it's like, you know what would be cool? If your hero was actually the villain, but it was seen through the eyes of a mouse. Just play with it, right? And you're like, yeah, that might be something. So you make a quick note. You don't forget it that way. You can't. You can't forget it. And that's the point. That's the whole point. Maybe you're at a convention and somebody's like, hey, I'm going to be out of the office on Monday and Tuesday, but please send me an email with your portfolio on Thursday. Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate that. You take it and you leave. As you leave, you bump into a friend at a convention. You guys start talking, and now you can't remember if that guy said Thursday or Wednesday. Whereas if you took right away, you just made a note that, right? You don't forget these sort of things. That's all it is. That's all this is. What was the other thing I was going to show too? One of the other powerful things. This isn't the paid version that I have, but when we make a task here, right? Like, lols, make sure to buy some loller skates. Okay, so I got to buy some loller skates. Check this out. In the paid version with this notification, I can actually send a text to my phone telling me this. Okay, so if I know I'm going to be somewhere or whatever, or if maybe I just like the idea of having notifications sent to me, go ahead. You can send it by email, all kinds of stuff. That's huge. And the last thing you can do here, I will say too, is let's say, for example, today, right? Live Scribbles with JoJo. Okay, so that's for me, and I know that's every Wednesday, right? So check this out. In there, I can write every Wednesday. Did I spell that right? Wednesday? I think that's right. Anyway, so when I hit add task, what that'll do is every Wednesday, this will actually pop up in my feed saying, guess what? You've got this to do. Huge. Vastly important. Yeah, I want to kill it. Okay, so check this out. There's tons of videos online, guys, and you can use a very simple version of this of just keeping notes and just putting it into a date. Okay, right here, Todoist. Todoist. Use it. All right. Okay, see you later, bud. All right, so I'm gonna take off, you guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys had fun tonight. I had a blast, able to get back into some Jessup King. Obviously, didn't get as far as I wanted, but that's the way it goes on these streams when we talk. I'm hopefully this month is pretty much a wrap. It's tough to be able to squeeze some time in, uh, but I would like either tomorrow or Friday. I'm not sure which. To just do another stream just for fun. And if you guys are interested in that, you guys can just keep it going up there as well. Okay. You just got here. You always come at the end, my man. I'm so sorry. But yeah, actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upload this video when we're done, and I should be able to post this on YouTube tonight. So instead of having to wait till the weekend. So hopefully we can get that going. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I really do appreciate everybody that showed up today and everybody that was able to come in today. I want to say thank you once again to all my Patreon members and subscribers. You guys are the best. I really do appreciate it. And if you're interested in becoming a Patreon, I am changing it towards the end of the year for what we'll be running into 2016 with, focusing on Jessup King, daily sketches, and as usual, I always have the monthly free giveaway. So how that works is at the end of the month, I pick somebody randomly from the previous month that was, charged money or whatever, and mail out the winner a free sketch. So this month we did Gildas from Castle Dracula. The month before we did, I think it was a Jessup King. I think a Jessup King before that as well. So you guys can be interested in that. And finally, if you're interested in the sketchbook red that I got all set up for the convention, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, you can head on over to my website, jonathanrector.com, and click on store. And I do have a few copies left, so if you guys are interested in getting something like that for Christmas or whatever the hell, by all means, there's a sketch edition there, regular edition, check it out. There's also a video on YouTube that links to that as well, so you guys can see every single page that's inside the book before you even have to consider purchasing it. And I believe that's it. That's a lot of stuff going on. Lots of stuff. I feel like there's one other thing. Oh, if you're following me on Facebook or Twitter, I did make posts, and I'll make them throughout the week as well. But I did post the chibi, cute kind of Batman sketch that I did at the convention as well, and that's on eBay as well for those of you that are interested in buying some original art. So anyway, that's enough out of me. Thank you guys once again from the bottom of my heart. I do appreciate it. And if you came in a little late, like Michael, the show is every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you came in a little bit late, just check the clock right now, subtract an hour, and I'll be able to see you guys next week. So until then, keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.